So this is the most humiliating experience of my life, as far as I'm aware. Now, quite frankly, I don't have any shame left because honestly, I've done so many embarrassing things in my life. I think it just ran out. But so I think this was in August, and basically, I was looking for jobs because I'm still unemployed. And there's only so much money that I can take from Universal Credit because they gave me peanuts, but whatever. So basically, I wanted to get a job, so I applied for Pret a Manger. I think that's how you pronounce it anyway, because they're fancy like that. And um, it was through Indeed, so it was quite easy, just fucking boop 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 applied, right? And they got back to me and they were like, "Hey, um, great, we've got your application. You'll hear back from us soon." It's like, okay, sure. Now the problem is that all the jobs I've applied to, I think 90% of them have ghosted me. So I was like, okay. Like not even a response back saying like, oh sorry, we're like not hiring you or that. Um but then, I was like, fuck it, why not? I've got nothing else to lose. Then I got a call and they were like, hey, um, can you come in for like an interview? Um, and I was like, sure, yeah. When's good for you guys? And they said, oh, it's mainly like what's good for you. I was like, mate, I'm unemployed. Like the question is, when is good for you? Anytime's good for me. You're like, okay, how about I think it was like a Friday at like 10 o'clock, and I was like, sure, why not? So they said, oh yeah, also bring a copy of your CV. So cool, I'll do that. Okay, see you guys later. Bye. So I'm like, oh my god, an interview that basically very rarely happens. I think I've only had like 5 interviews ever, but whatever. I still went, and I forgot to bring my CV. But like, and so basically, what happened was I got no sleep that night. I was up at like 10. I was up at like 4 a.m. being like, I've got to go to like a job interview tomorrow, and I have like no energy. Anyways, so I didn't sleep that night, so I had to go to this interview with no sleep. And at that point, I'm over it. And I was like, I'm not dressing up. I'm not doing an interview in interview clothes for Pret a Manger. No, I'm not doing that. You can shove that up your ass. Like, literally, I'm not turning up in a white shirt and a tie and black trousers for a job where you're literally just using a till. Like, this is not like an office job. Anyways, so I show up in my hoodie and they were like, stop talking, and then they were like, so why Pret? First of all, stop being so pretentious. You know why we're here. You know why I applied to you guys is because I'm literally looking for scraps at this point. I recently seen a statistic. I think it was like what 1.3 million graduates are scraping and scrambling for 17 million, not 17 million, 17,000 jobs. That's 1.43%. Like, this country's so fucked up. Anyways, so I said, oh, like, I really like Pret because, I think you guys like are really friendly. Like I've heard great things about you guys, and I really like your potato bites." And you're like, "Oh, haha, what's your favorite drink?" Go, I don't know. I don't drink coffee. So I said, "Oh, hot chocolate." And they're like, "Okay, cool." By the way, I forgot my CV, but the thing is, I know my CV from bottom to top because like I've done this before. But they didn't bring it up, and they was like, "Okay, can you come in for like a trial shift tomorrow?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." And they're like, "Cool. See you then." And I was like, "Cool." So I go to the trial shift, and I was like, "Hey, I'm here for my trial shift," and she's like, "Oh, hey, I'll go get the manager." And the manager's like, "Oh my god, hi. Come upstairs and just put your stuff down and take your necklace off because you can't wear that while while serving food." I was like, "Fair enough." Took my necklace off. It broke. I was upset about that, but it's fine because I break necklaces all the time. It seems to fucking be so flimsy. Um, but basically, like, um, where was I? Oh yeah, so I go down. Meet the person who's training me. Mind you, this is for like an hour. So she's like, "Okay, I'll show you how to use tills," and I was like, "Neato, whatever." So she's teaching me how to using tills, and I'm like watching her, obviously, and I'm listening. Like, she's not asking me any questions. She's just saying like, "Okay, this is how you like use the tills. Make sure to ask if they have the Pret app and all that." And I'm listening, so I'm not talking. I'm just listening. And then she's like, "Okay," and then she asked me like general questions. She's like, "So, were you at college?" And I was like, "Yeah, I was at college for like wildlife conservation management." And she was like, "Oh, that's cool. Where was that?" And I was like, "Oh, in Elmwood." And she was like, "Oh, I used to go there for like cookery." And I was like, "Oh yeah, they don't do that anymore, do they?" She's like, "No, no." And anyways, she's basically using the tills for a bit, and then I'm like, "Okay, how about you start wiping down the tables?" It's like, "Okay, fair enough." So I wipe down the tables. I put all my shit away. I put all the dishes away. And mind you, I'm away from everybody else. Everyone else is behind the counter. So I'm like, "Okay." And then they're like, "Okay, can you like face the products and stuff?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure. Face the products, wipe the tables outside, go back in, wipe the tables inside, rinse and repeat, go around round." And then she's like, "All right, that's your hour up. Just come upstairs and we'll have a talk." I was like, "Oh, great." So we go upstairs and she's like, "So after talking to like the rest of the staff, we kind of need someone with personality." So, and I was like, "Okay." And then she goes, "Yeah, like, you're not very confident and, like, you barely spoke to us." I was like, "Okay." She's like, "Yeah, so thank you so much for coming. I really hope you find a job that suits you. But yeah, this one wasn't for you." And I was like, "Okay, um, okay, sorry, bye." And she's like, "Bye." A fucking tail between my legs going out. And then she was just so fucking humiliating. Being like, "Oh yeah, you have no personality." Like, I'm still not over that. Like, I got told that she's a nice person. Like, people know her in the town, and like, she's nice. But then she turns around and tells me I have no personality. I do have personality. It's just you haven't let me speak to anybody. Like, how can you expect me to speak to people if I'm at the other side of the shop, away from everybody? What do you want me to do? Fucking shout through the shop, being like, "So, how is your work?" Like, what do you want me to do? But yeah, I think it kind of set me up for failure anyway, because I think they just didn't like the fact that I was, not like them. I wouldn't, no, it's not like eugenics, because eugenics is race, but personality eugenics, I guess. And I get it. You don't want, like, like someone who never speaks to anybody working there. But the thing is, like, you didn't give me a fucking chance. And that's what I hate about jobs nowadays is that after you apply and after you, like, first of all, applying to the jobs in the first place is fucking ridiculous because I recently applied for a role at Sky, and at Sky they were like, okay, just fill out this application. I was like, cool. And it did the basic thing. I was like, oh, tell us about yourself, and I was like, fair enough. And they're like, okay, we'll get back to you. And I was like, cool. And then I got an email like almost straight after being like, fill out this short quiz. And the short quiz was like, they said, oh, it only take you 15 minutes. I was like, okay. They made me take an IQ test, a math test, a personality test, a logic test, um, a situational test. They made me do those weird things where you have to record yourself answering questions. They made me like all this stuff, and I was like, for Sky, answering phone calls or calling people to beg them to stay. I was like, who? What? It's like, why do you make us do this humiliating experience? And I know that's an extreme example. Like, I don't think I've ever applied to a job that's ever done that before. But some of these questions are like, fill out your CV through our website, like individual boxes. And I was like, okay, can you not just let me upload it? It's like, yeah, you can upload it, but we won't look at it. We'll just look at we won't even look at what you put in the boxes, but we must insist that you put all your shit in your boxes. It's like, look at the fucking CV. It'll be so much easier. Stop messing us about. Not to mention, create an account. What for? If you're not gonna fucking, like, I don't understand. If you're not gonna accept me in this job, why should I create like, an account? I don't understand. And just worse is that they're like, they'll email you a year later being like, you haven't touched your account, why? And they'll be like, if you don't log back in, we're gonna deactivate it. Like, okay, whatever. What do you expect me to do? Fucking apply to jobs what nationwide? As if I'm gonna fucking say, oh yeah, I want to apply to a Morrison's role down in Southport. I live in Fife. And then the other ridiculous experiences, and then after you've applied for the application, sometimes it's like a day or two, and then they reply with, sorry, you didn't make it to the shortlist. And then if you do, they're like, you made it to the shortlist, we'll be in touch shortly. And then they're like, okay, come in for like a talk, an informal chat. Spoiler alert, there's never an informal chat. There's never an informal chat. And yeah, so you go to those informal chats, and it's people being like, so why do you want to work here? Don't make me do this. You know that I'm literally on my last legs. They see my CV, they say, you have a H&C in wildlife conservation management, so why do you want to work in a hotel? I think it's pretty obvious. I don't want to work here, but what I do, I want the job. I will do the job properly if you pay me. In fact, you don't even have to pay me that much. You could pay me minimum wage and I'll still be happy. Just let me have this job. Stop making me go through this humiliation ritual. And then they'd be like, okay, cool, we'll be in touch. And then they never get back in touch. I went to an interview for a hotel receptionist in Kirkcaldy, and do you know what? I liked that interview where she basically just asked me, do you have the right to work? Yes. Are you a British citizen? Yes. Can you get to work? And I was like, yes. And she's like, cool. We'll be in touch. Like, that's exactly what I want. Just, I can answer these basic questions. To be honest, that could have been an email, but I don't care. I'll show up in person if I have to. And they didn't get back in touch. Another humiliation ritual I went through was, so I'm with the job center, and they said, "We're gonna make you do a swap," which is sector-based work academy something. Basically, a company goes to the, job center being like, "Look, we have a job available, um, and we would like you to send your finest povos and basically just, like, we would really like it if you just send us your best povos so we can, like, make them work for free." And basically, the job center tries to frame it as like, "Oh, you get work experience and stuff, and it'll be look good for like jobs and stuff." It's like, no, it won't, because unless I'm actually hired, they won't care. But anyways, so Costa asked me, well, I got like shortlisted for a role at Costa, and I was like, sure, why not? So I do a week's worth of work at Costa for free, mind you, and they were like, "Okay." Um, I made friends with the coworkers, I think. I was nice to them. They were nice to me. I was chatting to them. And, um, my mum knew the manager. My sister knows one of the coworkers, so I thought, yeah, I'll probably get the job because they know me very well, or they know my family very well. I don't see why not. And they said, "Okay, we'll be in touch and for your interview, and yeah, thank you for working here." I was like, "Cool." Um, Now the thing about the swap thing is that they have an agreement with Job Centre and by extension the government, basically, that they have to give you an interview. If they don't give you an interview, they've basically not upheld their sort of end of the deal. So I'm waiting. 1 week goes by, nothing. 2 weeks go by, nothing. 3 weeks go by, 4 weeks go by, 5 weeks. I'm like, okay, what the fuck's going on? So I talked to my job coach, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'll have to speak to them about it because they're supposed to give you an interview by now." And I was like, "Yeah, I know, right?" And then a week goes by and goes like, "Oh yeah, I forgot. I'll do it next week." And I was like, "Cool." Next week goes by. He's like, "Yeah, so I'm actually pretty pissed off because they just hired somebody and they just didn't tell you and they didn't give you an interview." It's like, "Gee, thanks." Because not only have you fucked with me personally, but you fucked with the government, which, to be honest, I'm not really in favor of this government, but it's fucking whatever. So you've messed with me, you messed with my time, you messed with my potential money, you've humiliated me. I cannot show my face back in there again. It's just diabolical at this point. I just, mm, mm, like, it would have been so much better if you just tell me, look, like, we hired somebody else. I wouldn't give a fuck. But the fact that you made me wait 6 weeks for I had to not even from you, I had to ask the work coach for them to like, call up the regional manager and be like, "What the fuck?" 6 weeks? You couldn't have just sent me a text message. I mean, you wanted to text my mum. I g like I get it, you know my mum, okay, cool. But there's no reason to text my mum. You have my number. I gave you my number twice. I'm sick and tired of just being humiliated like this. It's like, why must you make me suffer? Just again, this I've this got like this country's fucked. Like honestly, nobody can get a job because fucking there's no jobs going around. The jobs that do exist are for people who drive, for people who are freelance workers, which basically means 0 hour contracts, and for people who have like care, care experience. That's basically it. Care, delivery drivers, and admin. And if you don't have a driver's license, you're fucked. And if you live where I live, you're fucked, fucked, fucked squared. and the job center expects you to apply to all these jobs, but there's no jobs going around. There's no point in me applying to a delivery driver role if I cannot drive. Well, I can drive, I just don't have the legal basis to do so. If I drive, I get put in prison. And the very, very rare jobs that are around, they're like, you have to have at least 1 year of experience for this entry level job. I really don't understand. I have volunteered as a front of house assistant for a theatre. I have volunteered for the RSPB to collect money from pinned bag boxes. I have volunteered for nature reserve roles. I have worked as a student ambassador, basically being hired by my own college, which doesn't mean much because they just hire just about anybody. If you're in college, they'll be like, yeah, sure, just do it. That was the only job I ever had. So I have what? I have customer service experience. I have cleaning up experience because I had to clean up after the theatre people. I had to, um, you know, usher them to the toilets. I had to collect money. I have to deposit into the post office. So the cash handling fucking experience, that's rare to find. I have training in customer service. I got like this weird award that I was forced to take because of the job center. Um, I have first aid experience and I have experience in conflict management. Yeah, that's not enough because nobody fucking cares unless you actually have a job experience. They said no povers allowed. And they keep hiring university students. Okay, but this isn't a university town. The nearest university town is 14 miles away. I feels like I am. It's just. I'm. I'm just so mad because it's like I need a job. I can't keep doing this. I am so chronically unemployed that every day is side quests. Fucking the amount of times I've just been running around fucking Edinburgh being like, okay, I have nothing else to do. One time I went to Edinburgh and because I had like literally like all the time in the world, technically, I just decided like, yeah, why not? Let's just walk from like from Leith to near enough south side. Ugh. You know, in the summer last year, in 2025, do you know what I did with my time? Every day, I would go to St Andrews, I'd climb behind the castle, and I'd just stare at birds for like an hour. Because what else was I gonna do? And I've explained this to the job coach. I was like, listen, like, I can do those delivery driver roles. Like, if you just give me enough money so I can do driving lessons, I can, like, actually, like, do my job. I would really like a driving license. I can drive. I've got like near enough 35 hours of driving, but I haven't been able to drive properly since June last year because I've run out of money, which coincidentally was the time that I came off college. And they were like, "Yeah, but sorry, like the government won't give you money for it." I was like, "They give me £300 a month," and like they give me that because I live with my parents. I technically don't pay rent even though I do. And um basically I have like no children, like no one to care for. So they give me like the bare minimum. And they'll be like, yeah, so sucks to suck, I guess. And I was like, well, fuck my drag.